22nd of August 2021, and up to present, the court is fully functional with I being the acting staffing the magistrate here.
Okay, let's look at the turnout in terms of the court's responsibility. Are citizens taking advantage of the court?
Yes, citizens are taking full advantage of the court because the crime rate in this area before the court was reopened, the crime rate was high, but on a gradual basis, citizens are taking full responsibility of full initiative to bring their cases to court. And the court has been adjudicating cases such as criminal, ranging from criminal cases to civil cases. And so far, so good. We can say the case flow is very high, but what we can say is that the people are taking advantage of the presence of the court.
The presence of the court in this community, what does it mean to the people?
Well, it means a lot because they see the court as a final place of hope for mankind on earth. So if you feel offended, you cannot take the law into your hands. You have to come to the court to seek redress. And the court has been trying its very, very best to see how we can dispense justice. Because the purpose of dispensing justice, is to ensure that you don't want the reoccurrence of another crime, because where there is crime, there is lack of justice, there is lack of rule of law. That place, it becomes chaotic, and so many dangerous things happen. So once the people bring their cases to court, we try very hard to carry on speedy trial so as to give justice to those who are seeking justice. And then there is a legal maxim that says, the justice delayed, justice denied. So in order for people to build confidence in the judicial system and the court, you have to dispense, or dispose of cases in a speedy, and fair manner. So with that, we can say that we are on course. We are doing everything possible that when cases come, we invite, those who are supposed to be invited, and then we go through trial. And then one of the challenges we've been having in the Fourth Judicial Circuit is the issue of the lack of prison compound. And that has been, a serious problem for us.
So the absence of the prison compound in Harper is also affecting your work?
It's affecting because the prison compound is for the entire county. So, let's say for instance, if you have a criminal matter, if you want to sentence somebody or you want to carry on pre-trial detention, you will have to take that person to either Harper Fishtown River G Central Prison. And the transportation, the distance from here, River G, is kind of long. So sometimes people who are plaintiff, we call them the plaintiff or the complainants, they don't even have the transportation, to transport the defendants to River G Fishtown. So sometimes, for pre-trial detention, we send the detainees or we send the defendants to the various police station. Sometimes it's Harper Police Station, sometimes it's Plevo Police Station. So we are facing serious challenge with the issue of prison compound because the prison compound was vandalized the last time when the riot occurred. And so because of that, we have been facing some challenges as it relates to the dispense of our justice. Yeah.
What sort of cases under your jurisdiction do you handle?
Well, we handle cases like ranging from civil cases to criminal cases. And we handle cases, civil cases, we handle criminal cases like some of the ones that we've been handling here. We have theft of property, we have criminal trespass, we have, I remember we have one aggravated assault case here, but then that case, because we don't have jurisdiction over said matter, and by law, you call in for what preliminary examination if that is requested by the defendant, and that case has since been transferred to the circuit court in Harper. So basically, we have all cases ranging from civil matter to criminal matter, in as much as it falls under our subject matter and our personal jurisdiction. So under the magisterial code, we have three functionaries. Like for example, in terms of the law, we have the first degree misdemeanor, we deal with misdemeanor cases. We deal with second degree misdemeanor and third degree misdemeanor cases. So under those cases, it is the penal law now that will define in whether or not we have trial jurisdiction over said matters. So all cases ranging from civil that are under the jurisdiction of the magisterial court, criminal matters that are under the jurisdiction of the magisterial court, we are trying all of those cases. We have had one jury in our case that was transferred from Harper to our court here, but then that case up to now has not been adjudicated due to the appearance of the lawyers as well, the defense and the prosecuting lawyers.
Oh, so let's come to the involvement of the traditional people in this community. It is often noticed that every other day, most often cases comes of traditional people take part. Do you observe that happening here in terms of traditional people coming in, undermining your efforts, want to take case and carry to the community and settle that?
Oh yeah, to be very specific, there have been one or two instances where traditional people will come, but not forcibly, appealing that, Your Honor, we want to take this case home because we think this case can be discussed, at home. And that is based also on the complainant. If the complainant agrees, he or she does what a voluntary withdrawal in consultation with the plea of the traditional people, or for the traditional people to come here with force because the code is clearly defined. The town chief has his own role to play in the community because he's the first in terms of, the chain of command in terms of traditional activities. And then the commissioner also has his own role to play. All of our chiefs, they are cooperative. They also have their own role to play. But in terms of they coming to influence the court, we can say, we have not observed that here.
It's not happening here.
Yes, we have not observed it. They are cooperative. They are working in line, understanding fully well that this code is a magisterial code. It's not a code that just came on that just spoke up by itself.
All right. So the traditional people, they are giving direct support.
Yes.
And they take cases with appeal.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's come to the strategies put in place in terms of creating awareness for people to come here and bring their cases. What are you doing to encourage the communities?
Well, that is very simple. What we do here is that we dispense justice based on free and fair, trial. The more you dispense justice, when people get justice, they will go back in the community and say, look, I think that code there, the code means business. And then, I took my case to the court and I got the proper redress. So that is the awareness. Beyond that, we have no other means of creating awareness. These are free and fair trial.
Have you come across a case that you have handled and perhaps those involved started grumbling that the case was not to the satisfaction?
It's obvious. This is why, as a magistrate, you should not be moved by public sentiment. Do what is right, and make sure that what you are doing is in line with the law. People will always say, most especially if you are the losing party, you always say, there is no justice in the court and what have you. But the fact of the matter, as a magistrate, you should do everything possible in conformity with the law, so that the justice that you will render, it should be of quality, it should be of a free and fair trial. Yes, that's what I can say. Well, what I want to say is that we need more support from our government. We need more support from the local government and the national government, and we are also calling on the national and the local government too to see reason in terms of the refurbishment or the renovation of the Harper Central Prison, because that is actually impeding the justice system here. It's undermining the justice system to a greater extent, because most of our defendants or those who we have adjudged guilty, we will have to sentence them to
River G.
Fishtown, and then once the plaintiff or the Ministry of Justice, which is the prosecuting arm, does not have the vehicle or the means, that same defendant or person who has been adjudged will have to go back in the community, and that alone it undermines what justice. Because if for any reason somebody who commit a crime who's supposed to be punished for the crime in Germany they are committed, so as to serve as a deterrent, if that person cannot go to behind bars in Germany to serve as a deterrent and going right back in the community, there's a likelihood and possibility that that person can recommit that crime.
They also put the judicial system integrity at stake.
Thank you.
Community will have no trust.
Most definitely.
You were talking about support from government. What sort of support are you talking about?
As you can see, logistics. We need logistics. It's difficult to run the court without logistics in Germany.
Let's be specific.
We're talking about logistics. We're talking about furniture. We're talking about stationaries. I mean, just anything that you need in Germany to run, a court. Like for example, just in-house. We are living in a modern world right now, right? Typewriter now is being outdated. So we need something like computers in Germany. We need printers so as to speed up the trial, because when you were finished typing, in fact, sometimes the typewriters don't even work. So you see, we need moving objects, because sometimes you will have to move, from one point to another. If you get a defendant or you want to send your sheriff or your bailiff in a field.
That's the next question, the final question I'll bring in. How do you transport inmates? How do you transport your sheriff to go and do the arrest?
Well, sometimes what we do, because we use our own legal resources, right? We use our own legal resources to send our sheriff or our bailiff in the field to go and do the arrest. And sometimes too, if the plaintiff, has the means, of having a motorbike or can contribute towards the transportation, which is now
the complainant, right?
Yes, the complainant. If the complainant can use that means, to superintend or assist in the, bringing that person to book, the court will have no other option. But then, what we actually need, we need our own logistics. We need our own, moving object. You get me? And sometimes too, the motorbike issue is risky. Because taking, the distance from here to Fishtown River G, right? Taking a defendant, you get me, to Fishtown River G, that defendant may, harm the sheriff or the bailiff along the way. It happened the other time, one of our sheriff was attacked, by one defendant, you get me? So sometimes persuasive method have to be employed by our bailiff in order to take the defendant from here, who already knows that he's going to jail for XYZ number for months in Germany. Then you taking the man on a long journey in Germany, the man or the woman on that long journey, to Fishtown. So it put our officers at risk, and there are some challenges we are going through, but we cannot just speak all. To the media, but I'm very sure that our authorities are listening, and these are things that we've been flagging in some of our meetings, and I'm very sure that we can have a very prosperous judiciary.
Acting Splendid Direct Magistrate Prince JC Morris, thank you so much for talking to LMTV.
Thank you very much.
Kí ẹ mú bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò yí.